Welcome. This is Barry Jones from Angelic Wisdom, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for September 19th through the 25th, 2022. So before we begin, I'd just like to welcome everyone who is returning to this weekly angel reading, and also welcome anyone who might be new to the Angelic Wisdom community. So I'd like to extend to you my warmest and heartfelt welcome, and thanks to all of you who've been supporting me throughout the years and returning each week and checking out the information that is presented here. And so it's sort of a late start of a morning in terms of the sunrise. It's hard getting used to the sun coming out so late, but it seems to be going from cloudy to sunshine. So hopefully that will continue, and the lighting for this video will be sufficient. So I'd just like to invite anyone who's new or anyone who has not subscribed yet to my channel to make sure that you select the all notification bell and subscribe. Also like, dislike, and leave comments. I know I'm a little behind on just getting back to some of you, but I will try to do that soon. And just know that I do read all of your comments and appreciate that what you leave there, and so it's so empowering. And I just still want to encourage you all to leave it not only for me to read, but for other people to read as well. And for so many of you, have been introducing yourselves and telling people a little bit about yourselves, so that you might find that some people that are maybe in your immediate community as well. So, online is a wonderful tool, obviously, because it allows us to do this, but it's nothing like being in person, right? Or being able to connect with some people in person. Also, if you, well, first of all, I'd like to thank many of you who've also been sending in your support to my channel through my PayPal me link. I really appreciate that. And also, if you're looking for an angel reading, you can go to my current webpage, theangelschool.com/services, and you can select the first time promotional offer, which is my discounted 1 hourly rate, and this is available to everyone throughout this year, as this is my 10th anniversary year on YouTube. So in the coming weeks, I will be again working on the months are going by very quickly, right? And so much has happened in this month that's created an energy shift and an awareness that maybe some of you maybe have not thought about before. So many transitions and etc. I lost my train of thought. There's usually one more thing. Yes, so I will be working on the general monthly reading for October. I mean, pretty soon. I know we're just technically at this point a little over half of the month, but it does kind of go that quickly each month. And so I'll be working on that, and then I'll be working on the 12 zodiac signs, because by the end of this week, we really don't have but another week left before we're in October. And so also happy fall, as this week um, fall equinox will occur. So a lot of things, a lot of shifts here. Season, getting in a whole new frame of mind. The leaves will start to change, and we will go through our own change with this process. So let's take a deep breath for a moment and just tune in to the energy of this week. And really breathe into your heart space. Now, what the angels are showing me is a tree, and I feel like I'm looking down from one of the branches that are far away, and so that I can see the trunk of the tree very clearly. And I see at the base of it a foundation. So the angels really want you to get really grounded in the foundation of the earth itself. So, and I don't know why they're writing the word Leo, but this for me is about, stepping into your power, being, creative, being your true self, authentic in some ways. And the idea is that you really want to, so they're writing the word conception. So this is a time where you may start to really have these thoughts and new concepts coming to you. You might be considering changes in your life, what needs to be sort of discarded, what's falling away, what do you see, and sometimes it's like I get this sense of fall leaves, right? So we focus on what's fallen away, and some of those things that have fallen away are beautiful to us, and they meant a lot to us, but they also want you to put your attention to what's coming in. So what is your soul harvesting? And this might come in the form of ideas that you are conceiving. And so be aware that in order for certain things to come in, that there are things that we have to release, and that this is natural. It's not something for us to be shocked by or to be alarmed by. Like the seasons, we have to be aware of how the seasons unfold in our human experience, in the things that we accumulate a lot. And so it's a time to also make sure that we are releasing, repurposing, recycling. We are in the retrograde phase, and so Mercury retrograde phase. So think about some of the things that you need to pass on, to keep things in the flow, and so that new things can come in. Because the universe is always keeping this flow consistent, this moving in and moving out. But we hold up that process because of our attachment to things in a way that is not healthy and unnecessary. Because there's one aspect of it where we're just afraid to lose, because we equate it with security and stability. But we have to get used to the idea, as nature keeps demonstrating to us, that everything will return in its due season, right? So new things will come into your life, and as we let go, so the earth trusts the seasons, and it releases all of its beautiful foliage and blossoms. And it knows without hesitation that all of it will return. And there's a purpose for those seasons where things are falling away and then where things kind of feel barren. And what I love about winter is the architecture. The trees are so visible and so beautiful. You know, you think, oh, but it's just the branches, but it's really beautiful when you view the architecture of the trees, and so you get to, it's a chance to look at your own, I don't want to say it in this way, like look at your own skeletons, but not as in, well, it does cause us to reflect on those things, but I mean the architecture of who you really are. When you get down to the core of who you really are, you know, without all of that exterior um, beauty or flamboyance, right? The layers that we pile on. And so it's a good time to be with yourself, to be with your bare bones, to be with just the foundation of who you are, and recalibrate yourself. Get in alignment with that. So in a season like this is an opportunity as things seemingly are falling away or moving along. And I see the word desperate, and sometimes this makes us desperate, right? Even just the loss of the light, the daylight hours. I know it affects me. So one of the reasons why I chose the color of my room is because it never feels like, it always feels sort of summer. And so with this light blue that I chose, so that's why I love it. Ever since I put this in, I don't feel the effects of of it as harshly. But the idea is, you know, this is an opportunity for you to get in touch with the foundations of your soul, because now all of that fluff is sort of removed. And so it allows you to dig deeper, realign, reaffirm, reconstitute, reassess. And so they ask you that this is a huge process, and so they want to remind you to really breathe. And just take a moment to view your own tree. Maybe it's a tree that you know, or a tree that comes to you now. And notice how wide or small the trunk of your tree is. See if you can be aware of the bark on the tree and the patterns of it, depending on what kind of tree it is. And although you cannot see or the tree breathing, but sense the energy, the rhythm of the energy that is flowing through that tree. Look at the base of that tree. Are its roots above the ground? Or do you sense them beneath the ground? And again, just align with the energy that is flowing through that tree, the pulse of the energy. And notice if it is faster or slower than your own heartbeat. And if it's quick, are you able to perceive that flowing energy through the tree? And just allow your energy to meld with the energy of the tree and be aware of your own pulse. And then become aware of the roots that are as deep and as wide, if not even wider than the branches of the tree above. And just allow yourself to expand with the width of those roots beneath the earth, and breathe with the roots and the energy that each root is taking in from the core of the earth. And so allow yourself to connect in with the foundation of love from which this tree draws its strength and resources. And feel the peace that begins to become your own connection. And just continue to breathe and relax any part of your body. And allow your cells to now become fully in alignment with the frequency of the love that you experience, the energy of love you experience flowing through this tree. And as you just sit quietly, and now you just open your eyes gently. The angels wrote this number 646. And it says, the only thing blocking you is worry. And fortunately, the angels will relieve you of this stress if you ask for their help. Okay. So it seems that there is some things that you're worried about. And this is natural at this time of the year, as things seem to be going in a different direction, right? It almost feels like, your heart, your inner light seeks to expand, like sort of like the sun, but then the light at this time of the year is shortening. And so the transition creates a sense of loss, which creates a sense of anxiety in some way. And so the angels want you to know that connecting in, if you can do this little exercise with the tree and the roots, just connecting in this way, and feeling the peace that the trees and nature, the earth has as it moves through these transitions. This sense of security and stability, continuity. Your soul is at peace with everything that is unfolding on the surface of your life. And the angels always want to help you to release what you're focused on the surface, and to focus beneath that, deep beneath that. Be aware. And they keep writing the word respect. And what we have to also learn to do is respect the changes in not only the seasons, but respect the changes in the seasons within our lives. Some of you right now, they're writing, you feel like you're being tested in some way. You're never being tested. but you are in a school, an earth school. And you did come to have experiences. And those experiences, dependent on how we flow with them, and are there for your pleasure, enjoyment. But when we resist them, then that means we create a karmic cycle or process, which means, therefore, then that means like a need for a repeat, a lesson to understand why we just need to really just focus on going with the flow, focus on just loving and opening up our hearts. And opening up our hearts, when we open up our hearts, we open our hearts to change. And when we open our hearts to change and we don't fear it, we just get to continue enjoying the experience of being human, right? And with that comes variety. It comes contrast, duality. But all of it's there just to help us to express what we desire in our heart. It's all there to help us not only to express it, but to also at first process it, to make choices. And that's in the way that we process. All the contrast gives us an opportunity to see, to make choices based on the contrast that's happening. It helps you to find your purpose in it all. And really, the word purpose, we often think of this one singular thing that most of us feel is eluding us constantly, and we're chasing it. But every situation that you find yourself in, whether it's because of a repeating of a lesson or not getting something, there's always a purpose. And that purpose will come out of your decision about who you choose to be. Because that's your foundation, that's your security, that's your stability, that's your continuity. But you decide. The universe is never in disagreement with you. Never. That is not its role. The laws of the universe were not meant to be used to judge you ever. As its creator never is doing, for reasons which would then make the creator not what it is. Because it is chosen to be the pinnacle of love. And that love is so wide and so deep that there's just nothing that shocks it, is the way to put it, I guess. And so if there's nothing that shocks it, then there's never a moment when its capacity for love is finite, or its capacity to love is impossible. Its capacity of love is always expanding. And so it's never shocked by anything. That is our own judgment, and that kind of thing is what blocks us in our lives. And so this is if the season, if the shifts that are experienced all sort of bring up this for you, so that you can stop creating that karmic cycle of being shocked by change, being shocked by the process of surrender or release. or loss. Now, nobody's saying it has to be comfortable. Nobody has to say that grief or something, for example, is wrong. And there's all grief. We grieve over many different types of loss. And that's a part of our human process. And there's a sense of flowing with it, going with it, being in the flow of that process. But that process, if you respect it and you're with it, it will move you on to the next stage, through the stages of grief and beyond that, right? And so you'll find yourself soon enough welcoming new opportunities, embracing the changes, seeing the purpose behind it all, seeing the blueprint of life that was unfolding. All right, so let's take a look at the Archangel that we're working with. And it's Archangel Raphael. Look at all this beautiful green. Yes, emerald green. And it says, see with enlightened eyes, open to abundance. So Archangel Raphael is the archangel in charge of your third eye. And your third eye is linked to the planet Jupiter. And so Archangel Raphael not only assists he's not only the angel of healing, but he's also the angel of abundance in this regard. And so your perception, the healing of your perception, is what creates a difference between lack and abundance. And so Archangel Raphael is helping you to understand that this is a time of enlightenment for you, that such a season, we're in a Mercury retrograde, as well as change from summer to fall. And so in such a time, this is an opportunity for you to sort of rise above the certain behaviors or certain perspectives or beliefs that you have. And if you really feel like something is holding you back, there is nothing that's holding you back. The only thing that's holding you back is your understanding of what's occurring for you and to you at this time. And so you can call upon Archangel Raphael right now to touch your third eye and to help you in this week have an enlightened perspective about the situations that you find challenging. There is a higher view of things. And I keep saying the word respect, I don't know why. But call upon Archangel Raphael to help you to respect the season of your life right now, and to respect the events as they're unfolding, but also that word conception they brought in to help you to conceive abundance and of opportunities through this process that are opening up to you as you surrender those things that no longer are serving you in your life. Okay? Let's just take a look and see which card comes up for you at the beginning of the week. it's so the emerald green is just so healing just to see these colors here, and also connecting with nature is just always the greatest opportunity for you. So the King of Swords, okay, and so this is about having and I just feel like this is a character trait that you need to sort of implement in this week that this card is coming up. So one of balance, right? Mental clarity, balance. So make sure that you don't readily rush to judgments about anything. If you can practice not readily jumping to judgments about anything that's happening, that will sort of, I don't know if this is the right word, but curtail that immediate jerk reaction to obsessing or worrying over things unnecessarily. You'll take the potency out of the shock. Like we are so used to judging things and jumping to conclusions immediately that we put ourselves in these stressful and very anxious situations. So pay attention to what triggers you. Pay attention to what triggers you, but with the idea that it's not always what you think it is. Maybe someone's behavior triggers you in a certain way, and you see this behavior, it's a common thing you notice in people, but it's not necessary that it is always that everybody's thinking the exact same thing, and they're definitely directing that towards you. So even that, just listening to it, is illogical. And the way to sort of begin to break these perceptions that we have is that we have to take a logical approach to this, the way we look at things. Also, the angels just wrote the word exchange. So before you assume something about somebody, have an exchange with them. Meaning, get to know them. Get the facts. Instead of assuming what's going on in mind, ask them what they're thinking about. Then you will know what actions you need to take next for yourself. And I was seeing in angel number 762, it says, trust that your needs are being taken care of. Now that you're taking better care of yourself and listening to your intuition. Okay? The way that you can, and it's going back to Archangel Raphael with the third eye, but the only way you can take care of yourself and your intuition to be very trustworthy to you is that you have to stop making assumptions and stop judging or criticizing, because that sets up a distrust in yourself. You judge yourself so that when you get an intuitive hit and it feels great and it's got all the inspiration, the bells and whistles, then you immediately start to cross-examine it and then not act upon it. You talk yourself out of what you were inspired to do. And so this behavior does not help you feel safe within yourself. Do you get it? Like that act of tearing somebody apart, of tearing things apart, is because you are afraid of your intuition and what it's telling you deep down. You're afraid to be so vulnerable, to the unknown, the unseen. Okay, let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. And we have the Queen of Wands. So instead of, it feels like, spending more time, just want to make sure these cards are being seen. So it's about spending more time. I don't know, when I see her here, the Queen of Wands is someone who's very comfortable in her skin and her body, with herself in all ways. And so therefore her talents and her gifts are fluid. They are, there's such a freedom of expression. And it allows her to be considered someone who's very talented and is very able in whatever her abilities are. So it also, she's good at promoting and others because she's so confident within herself, with her own gifts. She's not worried about somebody else trying to dethrone her because she already knows what she is and why she's doing it. So her whole thing is very solid, right? Her package deal, her brand, she's solid in her brand. So this is something that, you need to focus on within yourself. Focus on your gifts. Don't worry about the where you feel that you lack, abilities there. But focus where you are capable. Why do we make ourselves suffer so much by always criticizing our weaknesses and our flaws and spending so much energy there, and they're writing excessively, that we don't really promote our talents? They get diminished as if they're not in the room anymore, because you allow your flaws to just completely overshadow your abilities and your gifts. So that's something to also work on in this week, is taking the spotlight off of, and that's going to be a challenge because you're so wired to do it that, you may not have enough confidence in your capabilities. So again, one way is when we stop judging others and what they might be thinking about us and thinking like that, then we don't do that to ourselves. And over time, you can free up your abilities and your inner gifts and just allow them to really flourish. All right. And the last card we have here is the Four of Swords for the end of the week. So, this is the card like give it a rest, right? This is a card about give it a rest, okay? Maybe take a break from that thing that you're working on that this has you really tied up in a knot. Give it a rest. Then come back to it. There were times like I would have to take a break from my singing because I was just so critical. It would be a month, a year. But when I did that and I came back to it, I was freer, and and I had forgotten some of those bad habits that I put in there. So sometimes go do something else to break the pattern of just really honing in so negatively on something, and go do something else that gives you pleasure, that allows you to rest your mind from that situation so that you can come back and have a new perspective. So one of the ways in this week that you might want to deal with this problem because the anxiety and worry really comes because of feeling invalidation around us. That's why we criticize ourselves. We're worried that nobody's going to appreciate or respect or love us or or whatever it is we're trying to do, and so and then you create this whole scenario in your head, and it's really just you. It's your fears. And you allow yourself to be sort of abused by your own thoughts. And so to heal that perspective, get away from that whole situation. Go out in nature, reconnect, have fun, get together with friends of like mind that really uplift your spirit. Anything but focusing on that situation. Feel better, then come back if it's intuitive to do so in that moment. All right, so let's take a look at the card from the bottom of the deck, since it's interesting. It's the Seven of Wands. So there's this, what I'm getting is that this them versus us, or you against everyone else. It's that sort of mindset that you want to pay attention to in this week. Change is an inevitable aspect of our lives. So whatever it is that you achieve, like the Six of Wands comes before this. So he achieved the ultimate, everybody's, praising him, that validation. But now in this card, the tables have turned. The same people who were like, yay, now they're like, they won his spot. Now, that might be his perception, because we never see them. And that's an interesting thing about this card. We never see them. I don't think anyone ever portrays them who creates a tarot deck for this, or creates this card in their own artwork, in their own tarot decks, because is it real what we're thinking? Is it real? Are they really doing that? Or did you all of a sudden realize that you have a huge responsibility to now keep this, and you freaked yourself out? And then when you freaked yourself out, your mind went berserk thinking all kinds of crazy stuff about people. Now you can't trust anybody because you don't trust yourself. And that's what it's all about. Not trusting yourself. You're not trusting your intuition or the universe to inspire your next project. You don't sustain yourself. The universe sustains you. And that's the challenge they're writing here, that we're all having. We think it's just us. That's because you'll know by that your ego is talking to you. When you think it's you alone in this world having to survive, then your ego is talking to you. When you feel supported, when you feel that everything is somehow going to be all right, when you feel that you know that this situation is going to somehow just keep unfolding for you, that is faith. And that, that you're connected to the universe, your angels, and God. Because it is the universe who sustains you. So it sustains you through inspiration. Because inspiration can offer solutions, new opportunities, can enlighten your perspective, right? It can tap into your imagination and present a new goal, a new project, that will be even better than your previous ones. And that's why we have to stop just relying on the laurels of the past and keep ever open with a great heart and faith to that which might be your next big thing. There's another aspect of this card, which I can't think of right now, and came to me a few minutes ago. But this being on top of the world, it doesn't have to end, because you're already always at the top of the world just by being who you are. Each and every one of you is a unique brand created by God, and that brand is special and important. But with all that diminished thinking, one can never truly see it or experience it. And so it's up to you to start taking care of yourself by first interrupting that process of judging your actions and judging yourself all the time and criticizing yourself and being harsh. Get away from that. Get away from yourself when you do that. Go do something that allows you that mind to rest. Call out truce. Truce, just to say it to yourself. Okay, truce. I give up. Let's stop this. I don't need whatever you say. Sure, whatever. Okay? Yeah. No. Let's focus on something else. We've had that discussion over and over again. And you can do that by taking yourself somewhere else, doing something creative, or finding something that gives you pleasure. Not the creative thing that's stressing you out right then and there, but go do something else that you're creative. Or watch somebody else do something creative. Go to a concert, go outside and ride a bike, whatever. But just to give yourself a break, exercise so you get your endorphins going, which will put you in that proximity of inspired thinking and living. So do what's good for yourself, and don't jump to conclusions, and don't feel that you are in your struggle alone, because that's false. You are supported, and the universe is sustaining you, and it has been all along. And if you look back for the evidence, you'll see it. All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and have a beautiful, beautiful week.